Thank you, Amelia. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh.
Oops. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of
the
the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all. As you were. And it's to me, we will take the roll. Uh-oh. I lost my cheat sheet. I might have to do this from memory.
We can call our names out, Alan.
I can, yeah, I can. Matt Gifford, not present. Lori Jones,
Present.
Alan Kibbe, present. Jeff Mangles is out of town on business. Mr. McDonald, present. Mr. Matthews, I don't see. Dr. Pinto,
Present.
Chris White, I don't see, and Don Remsen.
Here.
Thank you very much for being here. At least it's a warmer night to have to come to a meeting. It's been kind of brutal. Amelia, do we have any public participation hands raised?
We don't have any attendees right now, actually, but just in case someone's listening and it's not popping up, or if anyone here wants to provide public comment, just use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of your screen. And I have not received any written public comment, so nothing was forwarded to you since the last meeting, but that's it for public comment tonight.
You must be doing something right, I guess. If that's the case, Lori, do you want to take us through the minutes?
Sure. So we are approving tonight the minutes from our November 19th meeting. These were distributed by Amelia. I've not received any comments. I don't believe Amelia has either.
I have not.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve those minutes as distributed? Thank you, Don. Second, John.
I
All in favor?
did review them, Lori, but I had no comment to.
Wonderful. Okay.
Go
All
ahead,
in
aye.
favor?
Oh, aye.
Any opposed? Fabulous. Okay. That's it.
They were
They're
well. There were no typos. Nothing. It was very well put together, Lori.
Thanks, John.
Uh, Application Review Committee, Dr. Pinto.
Okay, we have one application that's at 163, and this is an application that we've seen before, and it's been revised. And I think Mr. Ryder is from Land Tech is here to discuss that. But this is an application from Peter Cottling, and he proposes to retain an existing seawall that was built in 2020 with no modifications, and notes that the approved retaining wall was constructed slightly deeper. Just a few comments I'd like to statements I'd like to that I'd like to make with that. A deeper for stability and a top elevation around 11.5 instead of 11 feet. The seawall was constructed without a permit, as I understand, and we'll certainly discuss that in a moment. He also seeks approval for a residential dock consisting of a 12-foot by 4-foot pier with 6 piles and a ramp, 37-foot ramp and some change there, 20 by 5-foot square float with a 6-foot by 5-foot landing float. Portions of the pier will be landward of the mean high water and coastal jurisdiction line, while the remainder is under DEP and Army Corps review. And the piles will be installed from a barge using a vibratory hammer, followed by hand assembly of the pier and installation of a pre-built float and ramp. And construction is planned for the winter or early spring of 2026. I have the plans. You want to just look up the plans, because there's a few things I thought maybe commissioners might want to look at with regard to the seawall and why. Again, this was a seawall that you're seeking permit for that seawall now.
That's correct. You want me to show them my site plans? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you have those.
I have them available, yes.
I think Amelia can help you share, unless you share.
Nope, I'm all set. So this is the same application that you've seen before. We came to, when we submitted the COP application, we got, sorry, the structure and fill application, we came to you as under the consultation phase. You provided comments. I guess there was the figure you're probably familiar with.
Yeah.
You provided comments. The major comment was that we add the 55-foot distance in there. We did that. We submitted it to the DEP. The DEP, I got an email a little bit ago saying it's been sent up for signature for approval. It's already been approved, basically. It's been signature for issuance. We then submitted a CAM application to the city planning and zoning department. And that was for two items. One is the dock that you have seen before. And the other one was for a seawall. When the house was developed several years ago, there was a wall shown on the plans. It was a concrete wall, about 2 foot high wall. And then when the house was constructed, they didn't make it out of concrete, they made it out of boulders. And the footing was not as stable as they had thought. So they went a little deeper when they built that. Like I said, the wall was approved at 11. And due to the variability of boulders, we kind of took the highest point in there. It's 11.4, but it varies below 11, above 11, etc. It varies a little bit, but there is a wall there, and it does go deeper than originally designed. But we have submitted a CAM application, like I said, to the city. I think we're on the 7th of January to hear that. But prior to that, we are here to present that application to you for comment.
Yeah, well, as the commission has in the past has discourages retroactive or after the fact permitting, but has no objection to permit being sought. Again, with certain recommendations or limitations to justify the circumstance. And again, I think that has been done. It's been there for a while, and it has maintained stability and hasn't interfered with an encroachment or hasn't interfered with any impact on the harbor itself. So certainly there's circumstances there to say that's fine. But as I said, we as a commission usually don't have in our policy to make recommendations for after the fact. But again, this is an extenuating circumstance, and that certainly we see no problem with moving forward with the application or finding. Well, I don't know. I certainly saw the plans itself, and we followed all of the recommendations that we had made in the past, and that includes to retain the seawall and construct a small residential dock. Would be relatively consistent as far as what the new modifications that you have with the harbor management plan. The application demonstrates compliance with the applicable, coastal resources and use policy by avoiding adverse impacts and the coastal hazard area and water quality. That's all been mentioned. The project doesn't involve any soil disturbances beyond what has previously been approved. Preserves function of the existing coastal resources. So it has all of the plus signs that certainly we have with being consistent with the plan. The proposed dock is water dependent use, and design minimizes any environmental impacts by limiting water, in water work. You're going to be using a vibratory pile to install the dock by barge, and that requires when we have any work in that area that the work vessels and barges, the placement of that be under direction of the harbor master. So that's the one of the concerns that we would put, or recommendations that we would put. So the commissioners have any comment or any additions that they would like to?
I was just surprised when I was looking at the plans that were on the package that you put online for us. I didn't see the dock there. I didn't. Is this something that was?
No, that was it.
Added to the drawings, or was it not?
Those were in the plans, Alan. Yeah.
I didn't see it in the plans that were attached to the meeting. I just saw the.
Amelia had those on the. She had that on a website. We had it downloaded. Oh, yeah.
I guess I must have missed this sheet because I looked at the the coastal abutment there and all that. I just didn't see the sheet with the docks on it, so.
It was
You
a
wanna be-
separate sheet, Alan, so maybe that's what the problem was. They had the application form and they had a site plan for the wall, and then there was a separate plan for the dock. So it was a different,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
as long
they
as we
had,
have
I think, four or
as long
five
as-
documents there that they had put on the NOAA's website, Alan.
yeah, no, as long as there's a sheet for the
Yeah.
dock there, I didn't find it, so I would be sure we had it in the
Is
package.
I don't have any comments, Lori, Chris?
I don't have any.
Well,
additional comments,
and maybe,
no.
all right, then I'll gladly, just based on what we've reviewed, so I certainly make a motion that the proposed application is consistent with the Norfolk Harbor Management Plan, subject to the following conditions. And again, this is sort of the caveat that we usually place on these types of applications. That we know that all portions of the dock are under review by DEEP and Army Corps, and they must receive, you got the required approval permits. Work should be, occurred during the winter months that you indicate, to minimize any ecological disturbances. And you often using, again, the pile installation must follow best management practice to avoid turbidity. And again, as I pointed out, that we certainly not recommend, but assures that the harbor master will be consulted when the barges and work craft go into that area. So they're placed at the behest of the harbor master. And stormwater management, we looked at that, although the application has no best management practices necessary to apply. We would like to certainly confirm that any incidental runoff or anything during the construction is controlled to prevent any discharge into Charles Creek. Again, I know you mentioned that in your application. And the dock dimensions and the location mustn't impede navigation, and you pointed that out, that by the distance in the from the dock to a now the boat that was there is not there, but that boat is just as an indication that if there were a
It's
dock,
a placeholder, yes.
right? So that was understandable there, and the other thing too that I think we made a comment about is that the applicant provide proof of neighbor notification. That the neighbors are well aware of what's going on, or there any requirement, any legal notices, or especially the people in Charles Creek. I think we asked that they be notified as far as the dock being placed in that area there.
Well, there was two things. One is that, first of all, through the COP, for the state permitting process, we had to notify everybody within 500 feet.
Okay. All right,
So that's fine. But also to your comment, so you had provided a letter. In your letter, you had asked us to the Charles Creek Association, I forget the actual name. Anyway, that has basically been disbanded. That was originally created, I spoke with Peter Codling about that numerous times. That has been disbanded. That was originally created just for the dredging purpose.
Okay.
Dredging has been done, but what he did do is talk to what is was previously the presidents and talk to other members, as he does normally through normal conversation,
Okay.
and they are aware of that as well.
Okay. No, I apologize because we've
That's
done.
fine. I just wanted to explain how we have tried to comply with your
Yeah,
request.
we dealt with the Charles Creek Association before in previous applications, and I thought they were still in existence, but they're not in existence anymore. Then.
That's my understanding, correct?
All right. Great. That's fine. All right. So, anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Lori. All right, all those in favor? All right, aye. All right, no. Thank you, Tom.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I wish you a good evening and nice seeing you again. If I don't see you all, have a wonderful holiday.
You too, no.
Thank
Thank you. Take care.
And Mr. Chairman, that is it for the application review.
Todd, do you want to say anything about there's a public hearing tomorrow about 80 Seaview Avenue?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. I was gonna make that in Jeff's comment too, because we're gonna need to say something, Alan. Where do I have it here? I think I have it on 80 Seaview. Yeah. So yeah, we have an informational hearing tomorrow at 5 o'clock, which we're going to sign up for. And we need to have written comment by December 23rd. And I think it's critical to provide some strong verbal comments and follow up with detailed written comments, which we will do. And again, the Harbor Management Commission there's a conflict here. And we made that plain and simple to DEP. And the proposed project conflicts with the Harbor Management Plan at several locations. And it has to be emphasized along with the plan's history, because the plan's history involves just that one thing, that we avoid encroachment in the federal navigation. And that was the Army Corps stipulation, that before they did any dredging in that area, that impediment, any dock, any boat, anything that was in the federal navigation project be removed and a setback be provided. And that's what we had guaranteed all through. And East Knoll Boat Club had complied with that. The Pastime Club had complied with that. And all of the individuals up around that area complied with it. And except the Overton group there. They didn't. So now they want to put they want to put boats right up against the federal navigation, the anchorage line. And the other thing is the encroachment. They have 16 feet in the city's right of way, and they're using that for commercial purposes. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And then again, they're encroaching also on the East Knoll Boat Club's 3 feet within their riparian rights. So there's 3 points there that need to be addressed, but it goes beyond this, because we need to maintain a proper setback. It's essential to avoid any repeating issues going back 40 years ago, and which we've eliminated. And this case also raises another serious concern that has been brought up about the new DEP public hearing process. You're familiar with that, right? In that under Public Act 2584, particularly DEEP's denial of the East Knoll Boat, they denied the East Knoll Boat Club's petition, despite the status that as an adjoining property owner. The only thing they missed by 1 month, and nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about this new public act, that you need to show how expressly how you are impacted by that project. Nobody knew that. And this extends even farther than Norwalk. It extends to Greenwich, it extends to Stratford, and also extends to the Save the Sound people. They also have an issue with this public hearing episode, and they're bringing lawsuits against the process going forward. So we're next in line. As a matter of fact, with this 80 Seaview Avenue project here, the DEP, what's irking me, that the DEP knows what's in that harbor management plan, and yet they're going ahead and issuing that plan, which I don't understand, and they have not given comment as to why they're going ahead and proceed. I don't know. I do not know. So I guess we have to make comment about that, and then come up with a letter for the 23rd of December to state our case in a little more formal manner, which we'll do.
Can
Hopefully
you
we'll do.
circulate that to all the commissioners, just so we can all put our 2 cents in? Because I think it's very important to comment on this.
Circulate now. What do you mean?
Well, it's due before we have another meeting, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's due on the 23rd. Yes. We'll put up. Yes, definitely. Before I put any letter together. Yeah. I'll submit it to the commission for certainly final approval. Absolutely.
And rather than having a special meeting, we could just
especially
find in writing perhaps, and
make comment about that. But right now, as I said, it just perplexes me. I'm perplexed about the whole thing, why they're moving forward with this project.
Yeah, I don't understand the impediment in the city's right of way, although I think, as I recall, that there's a language there that if the city decides to want to use that space in front of the
they're going to remove their docks.
They'll remove their docks, but that would not be an easy process either. There'd be a lot of.
And again, they're gaining some sort of financial benefit off the city's right away there. That's what I don't understand either.
Yep. Chris, is that in terms of your grant and for the street ends and all? Is that one of your areas? On your list?
Yes, it is. So yeah, it is. I brought that to. We had a discussion with Attorney Callahan about the whole project and about confirming the DOT's the DPW's right of way in general, and that one was called out specifically for the issues, and he was familiar with some of the issues with that particular property and with First Street. But First Street is definitely one of the candidates for improvement under the street ends.
So a lot of other municipalities, Alan, are having a problem with the DEEP's new recommendation that they have. Like I pointed out, Greenwich Harbor, we were impacted first with that, with the 80 Seaview Avenue. And then after they heard about what we went through, the same thing came up in Greenwich. So Greenwich Harbor Management and the Shellfish Commission in Greenwich they had a joint petition for a hearing on the proposed dock that they were going to put in Coscob over a shellfish bed, and that was denied by DEP to be reviewed. And so the denial is under review with the town attorney. So the town attorney in Greenwich is looking at this as well. And I contacted Mr. Callahan the other day to see if he would help stay in the fold with us as far as our review of 80 Seaview Avenue. Because again, we're not the only ones in this boat here, because Save the Sound, as I pointed out, has filed a court appeal challenging DEEP's denial of its hearing request from another town. So it goes a little deeper than just Norwalk. It's starting to creep along and other commissions. So I like certainly Attorney Callahan to sort of remain in the fold and help Norwalk with our dilemma here with regard to 80 Seaview Avenue.
That public hearing is it's on Zoom or Teams tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. I think we have to and I have to go to I think it's DEP's website to register for that.
Yes, you do.
So I'm going to have to figure out how that's done. I got to go to.
You want me to? I can forward that.
Oh, you have.
thing to the-
You go to Deep.
Yeah,
Website.
I can forward it to the
Alright.
commissioners after the meeting, if anybody, and call me if you don't get it, because it is something we can all tune into. I can't. I have a previous commitment that I can't miss, but there is
We
a
have to say something, Alan, because
Zoom meeting
when you think everything is
tomorrow night.
status quo and stationary, we've got our plan all settled out. We made comment about what's in the harbor management plan, and we're very consistent with our recommendations. Yet the DEP knows exactly what's going on here, and they're still issuing the permit. You know,
Yeah.
they're right on the anchorage line, right on it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So.
All right, so as many of us as can tune into that, I guess, tomorrow night and tomorrow evening, and just see what's going on. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. My report, and then going to be standing in for people tonight. I wanted to thank this is our last meeting of the year, and I just wanted to thank everybody for everybody's hard work and contribution and dedication to all the things we do. It's a lot of work. It's frustrating. It takes a great deal of time, and there's a lot of people involved. There's the harbor master, Mr. Lavala, who works very hard with us in time. The Norwalk Police, same situation, particularly with the bridge and all the supervision there. They're part of our team, as well as Recreation and Parks. I thought that we worked very, very well together with the new Vetch Park docking facility, which is sort of under construction this winter, as good partners on that. So, thank you as a commission for all your help and loyalty and hard work on that. We're having a mayoral transition at the end of this year. We also have 4 commissioners whose terms expire December 31st. John, I think you're re-upping. I hope you're re-upping with the mayor. That's okay. But Mike Matthews is not going to be returning for another term. He's gave me a call. I've not heard from Swite. So I don't know if he's going to be with us. I said Mike Matthews is not going to re-up for the commission, and Chris White I don't know about. The other person who is leaving us is Lori Jones, who's been a loyal and dedicated secretary and participant, and done a tremendous amount of organizational work. Really the spirit of the commission. So I just like to thank Lori publicly for all the time that's been put in on this. It's just
Thank you.
It's been
Thank
great.
you. Thanks. I'm
Um,
sorry to be leaving. I'm sad to be leaving, but
At least you got your boat ride in.
exactly, Bruce. We got to meet you in person. That's the other thing. I hope we're gonna have a holiday party so I can at least meet the rest of you. Oh, some of you I have, but
the holiday party, I've been talking with Steve, and he hasn't been able to have time to organize that. So we'll see what what happens. If it doesn't happen before the holidays, we'll do something after the holidays. But again, the key feature of that has been all the shellfish, and so without the shellfish commission,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so just so the hamburgers, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, but I do enjoy everybody's
Yeah.
company.
A couple of years in the
Uh,
past, we've had it at Ishota, because Ishota was the place, and then we had it at the Norwalk Motor Inn one year. That was good, and I think we had the pastime. No, we never had the past. No, but there's certainly places available for us to.
Oh yeah, that's not the. It's I have some clout with venues around Norwalk as well that we could use probably free of charge, and I'm happy to expedite that if I need to. But it's really I need a little help from Shellfish guys for the part of the what we're going to consume there. Besides cocktails.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks for all you've done for us. I'm really going to miss you. But you can come. You can tune in and be a commenter online. We'd love to hear from you at other
Thanks.
meetings. But
Thanks.
thank you. Thanks very much. So that's the status of the commission. If we lose those, we're kind of close to not having a quorum. So I'm just watchful of how many people how many commissioners we still have that can vote. New business we'll do during new business, but we didn't get on the agenda, but we do have to appoint a nominating committee for officers for next year. There are 3 officers. There's a chair, there's a vice chair, and a secretary. The three officers. Typically, the February meeting is our annual meeting where we elect the new officers, and the terms end. Lori's term, I guess, is ending the 31st of December. So we'll find somebody to take the minutes for us there. But that we'll just talk about that under new business, that we have to produce that committee so they can find some candidates to be chair, vice chair, and secretary. So that said, I think we can move on to Shellfish Commission, which I don't see anyone for Shellfish here.
Bardish? No.
I don't see Steve. And John, do you want to stand in for Jeff then?
Oh yeah, Jeff gave me a few comments. Yeah, Jeff reported on his meeting with the Connecticut Port Authority yesterday. They had a public hearing, and this was at the invitation of the Port Authority to make comment. And so Jeff attended the annual public hearing with the Port Authority there, but in person. The DEP were online when they were at there as well. Now he addressed the Port Authority board and also on behalf of the Harbor Management Association. So Jeff is a member of the Connecticut Harbor Management Association, as well as certainly being our consultant, but he's been certainly our eyes and ears of what's going on. He reinforced basically what the CHMA represented. And again, the CHMA was for those that know about the CHMA is a non-profit volunteer association comprised of the commission members around the state. So I'm president of the CHMA. We have a vice president. We have again treasurer, and we have several board members, 9 board members that are members of harbor commissions from Greenwich to Lyme, Old Lyme, and Stratford. So there's a mix of various commissioners from around the state, and we're all volunteers basically at the association. So we do have a voice, and the voice has been well appreciated by DEEP and by the Connecticut Port Authority, who we were on the committee to help set up the Connecticut Harbor Management Association was on the committee to help set up the Port Authority during its day. So we were helped again. I have to say that we committed our resources to helping set up the Port Authority as well as the ship grant program, because previously there was not going to be a ship grant program because the only harbors that were recognized were Bridgeport, New Haven, and New London. And so they were the only ports that were going to get financial aid or assistance. And then we commented that the combined small size, mid-sized harbors had an economic value probably in excess of what those three harbors had and contributing to the state of Connecticut. So with that in mind, they started the small harbor improvement grant, hence the ship grant. And so that program has, certainly provided several $1,000,000 for Norwalk alone over the years. We got it for the visitors dock and we got it for the marina, the 3.5 million from the East Norwalk Marina. And again, Jeff was involved in writing those two grants and getting that money, helping getting the money for us. Yesterday, he also asked the Port Authority for its support for our ongoing efforts to amend the Connecticut Harbor Management Act. And that's based on the court decision that the court decision in Greenwich that mentioned that we do not have the authority to review applications that are submitted to the state, and that if we do make a recommendation, that it has to be expressly pointed out in the grant itself, not a recommendation of the harbor, but a recommendation that is implanted in the plan itself, which is an impossibility. We can't recognize every application that comes out and have that incorporated into our plan, but we use policies in the plan to make our recommendation. So he talked with both the chairman of the board of directors of the Port Authority, as well as the person who's in charge, who came down and met with us during that meeting that we had at the groundbreaking down at the East Norwalk Marina. And they're pretty much in agreement, pretty much with what our statements are, because he did state that we're in sort of opposition to what the DEP commissioner had mentioned, that we're looking for veto power and decisions that we make. And that has been absolutely not the case. We've never asked for veto power to contradict what the DEP has, but all we were looking for is some sort of verification or some sort of statement as to why they chose a different action if they go against what's in the plan. Because we are the recipient of that, and we have to deal with our constituents to explain why a different decision is made. Well, if you can do it here, how come we can't do it here? So that was our main concern there. So his comments were very well received, and so that was very, very happy about that. He also talked with the Port Authority and discussed about the upcoming changes. Now, next year, there's going to be some changes to the ship grant, and they won't come into effect until the first quarter. I won't go into it now, but those changes are going to come into the first quarter, which we still will be eligible for applying for any grant that we might need for Norwalk Harbor. They also mentioned that, because I also attended one of the meetings of the Norwalk River Watershed Initiative, there's a public meeting to discuss the ongoing update of the watershed-based plan, and it's scheduled for December 17th at 6 p.m. at the Comstock Center in Wilton. Jeff prepared a public viewing display for the meeting, and he included maps and photos concerning the history of the Watershed Initiative, which we were involved with. We were involved in the inception of the Norwalk River Watershed Initiative, and we're still a voting member of that board. That is the commission itself, and so he emphasized the role that Norwalk Harbor has and interest in Norwalk Harbor with regard to Shellfish Commission's responsibilities, and included several displays that he prepared back in 1997 that was at the beginning when the initiative had started. He had one new display. It was a poster of the historical image of Norwalk as the Connecticut's oyster capital. And so Jeff plans to attend the meeting to discuss the water quality policies, because what they had recommended, that they would like to have their water quality policies in line with ours from our harbor management plan. So they wanted to make some sort of consistency as far as because we are the recipient of everything that comes down the harbor, down from the River Watershed Initiative, and they want to make sure that their policies are in line with what we have. So this is where, again, the update of the harbor management plan certainly comes into effect here to work out with them. And so he talked about Watershed Initiative, along with some additional policies concerning stormwater management, which we also have in our policy. So they want to be consistent with what we have to maintain continuity of their plan with ours. And also talked about the DOT's Route 7 Merritt Parkway project was a topic of discussion. And this issue was going to be brought up with regard to the public hearing and during that meeting to discuss stormwater management under those conditions. So they're certainly dedicated to issues to rather stormwater management. The other thing that came into our awareness is that he attended, or Jeff continues to conduct research. He included discussions with DEEP and the Bureau of Aquaculture in preparation of the Norwalk Harbor Management's review of the remedial action plan, which we had commented on, and I'll mention that in a moment. This is regarding the DEEP stewardship permit. We have been informed by DEEP that the permit has not yet been issued. So the Manresa permit has not been issued yet as far as the stewardship permit. The public comment period expired October 30th, and there's still some matters to be addressed before the permit is issued, before the DEEP is going to be issuing the permit. And the DEEP Remediation Division was very appreciative, you mentioned, of the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission's comments, including our comment that the stewardship permit must make clear that the remediation of any contamination in the marine sediment offshore of the property that emanated from the past use of the property is the responsibility of the current property owner. And this is a comment that was endorsed by our Shellfish Commission. They want to see that the expansion of what goes in, not just in the air. They only want to hold issues with regard to the high tide, mid-high tide mark. That should be extended to the below the high tide mark and what goes into what has been leached off into the harbor area. So this is also a concern for DEEP, and they're also reviewing that as well. So just as a reminder, the stewardship permit that, as DEEP has informed us, is just the beginning step of the remediation process and identifies the responsibilities for remediation, not how the remediation is to be done. We're not involved with that. They are, and they have to provide what remediation is needed. The means and methods for the remediation need to be included in the detailed remediation action plan, which is to be reviewed by DEEP for DEEP approval, which we also are subject to the review. We have access to the review and comment, and also the Shellfish Commission has access to comment to that review. So that won't be forthcoming until probably either after the new year, at the end of this year, or perhaps probably in the beginning of the new year, because the DEEP is still wrestling with the concept of where the boundaries exist. So they're still holding that in abeyance. And I think that's it. We already talked about the Seaview Avenue permit and also the DEEP's public hearing process with regard to the new processes as far as public hearing is concerned, which is now extended not just to Norwalk, but to other towns as well. But other than that, that's all the comment we have on that.
Thank you, John, for delivering that for us. Appreciate it. I have, in Jeff's absence, I have some notes from him that I'm just going to share with you. He's going to say we have multiple positive awards from boaters and visitors via our DACWA program. DACWA is a service we use for reserving the transient moorings the Harbor Commission provides in Norwalk Harbor for out-of-towners. As for people to want to come to Norwalk, they can call ahead or radio ahead and reserve a mooring for a night or several nights and either hang out at the islands or come into East Norwalk or South Norwalk and enjoy everything we have to offer. We get a harbor award for 2024. We get another one this year for 2025. That's been forwarded on to Sabrina Kadeski over in the Public Relations Department to see if we can get the little Harbor Award seal put on the website, perhaps on the Harbor Commission page or on the city's website, because I think it's important to have our to be there as a waterfront presence as well as the city of Norwalk. This is a nice place to come to by boat or by kayak or by anything. Our DACWA really for Chris needs to be have to be reviewed and renewed this year. With regard to transient moorings, Edwards Marine was requested to provide a quote for winter staking and repainting the floats. Edward Marine was requested to provide a quote for larger mushrooms where needed on the 9 transient moorings. Edwards Marine was requested a quote for a 100 square foot floating dock system. The floating dock system, just, I think we've talked about this before, but just very briefly, that's an idea that we've had of putting a finger for either two or possibly four smaller vessels, on, out in the harbor. Our mooring fee is limited to $200 per vessel by state law. It's kind of buried in the text of the law, so it's very hard to find. But we're way below market on that, and part of the feeling is we could have a safer mooring area if we put in some anchored fingers, and we could tie two or possibly four small vessels up to them, and that would let us get us away from the $200 per mooring kind of limitation. So that's what the 100 square foot floating dock systems are kind of a floating finger that could handle four transient vessels.
Alan, and maybe Bruce, Milford has those, doesn't Milford?
Correct.
That's
Correct,
exactly
yes.
how Milford is set up, and I go in there all the time, so I'm kind of very familiar with that
It works well.
arrangement there. Yeah,
It
it
works
works
very
very,
well.
very well. Although it's relatively well protected in there as well compared to being out in Norwalk Harbor is pretty open to the elements. But
Well-
even so, I think it's could be a good solution for even our Norwalk moorings, but for the transit moorings, we let us get more people and really reduce the cost of the mooring. 'Cause
Where would they go, Alan, in the East Basin or the,
it could go any, I mean, if we're gonna talk about make one and try it out, and we'd probably use it for transits, but they could be used for fixed moorings as well. You could have, instead of one mooring on well, you have two anchor points anyway in the East Basin. You have a fore and aft tie up. So if you had a fore and aft tie up for a float, then you could put two boats against one float. And
Alan, is
have a
this for
little bit of
transient or is this for seasonal?
we could use it. We could use it either way. We're going to want to make a sample and give it a try. And it
Because
could
the
be,
$200 a boat vessel is for seasonal. It's not for transient.
no. That's for, well, our transit moorings are in for the season, though. So comes out to the same thing. We don't pay by the day for our transit moorings.
No, we charge by the day for transient. We charge
Right.
by the season, and the season limit is $200.
Right. That's correct.
And what we had talked about before was especially for transient, is the best place for a floating dock would be at the north end of the South Anchorage. So sort of off of South
Yeah,
Norwalk Boat Club, where it gets very skinny and
This
there's not
all-
room to have a full
Well,
swing
right.
anchor there.
It also makes sense in the East Basin too. So, I mean, it's something we're going to try out. I would just put some funds in to and get a quote for building a 100 less than 100 square foot float and see how, and anchor it and see how it works and try to use it.
Yeah.
And see if it's satisfactory in our harbor.
There's one spot. I have one spot that's open for that 5 by 20 dock. It's right across from my Shota.
Yep.
I think would be the good test place. Plus, we could probably work something out with iShota if people want to come for lunch. You know what I mean?
They get a discount.
They could tie up to the transient dock there and just digging over to the restaurant. So I think that might be a good test spot.
Are they going to provide bar service at vessel side then?
You never know.
With a canoe or something?
That's
Yeah,
been
there you
talked
go.
about actually. So I mean,
Lots of-
it's not out of the realm.
it's also in purview of our Marine Police, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Let me move along here. Our online moorings need to be will be renewed obviously this winter. Harbor safety, a 30-foot vessel sank at Norwalk Yacht Club. Deputy Harbor Master Lee is in contact with the club and owner. And the owner was in contact with the Coast Guard to provide a plan to raise and remove the vessel. Because that's some excitement there.
Wow.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Bruce?
Yeah, Jeff stole my thunder.
Yes.
I was contacted on the 2nd about the sunken vessel. I immediately called the Marine unit and Owen's got all the rest of the details on it, but he went up there. It was boomed, and take it, Owen.
Yeah, the vessel was boomed. We were told that there was no gasoline in the vessel. It's a gas boat, thank God. And it was boomed by us in the Norwalk Fire Department. And the plan is to raise that vessel on Friday. It's going to be crushed. It's a 1988, I believe, Bayliner. And so it has no value and it cannot be put back on the water. Our fear is that if it does get put back on the water, then it could cause another hazard. So that's why.
What caused it to sink? Was there a hole in it?
Unknown. 1988 Bayliner. So I mean, you guys probably could give a better guess than I could, but
Probably, I would say neglect.
age.
More likely neglect, but that's the, yeah. Okay, thank you, guys. And then Jeff wanted to have thanks to Amelia. He said, I don't know what we would do without Amelia. Thank you. To Laurie Jones for all our hard work while on the commission. Harbor Master Lavallo and Deputy Harbor Master Lee and Vinci. He says his thanks for the season, as well as Recreation and Parks. Working together, we succeed. And he says, have a wonderful holiday and a healthy new year. So that's Jeff's report.
Can I ask you a question from Jeff's report? So the award, is there a way to market that? Send it to our friend at the Patch.
Yes.
Or Nancy on Norwalk, I meant, or the Hour, whatever. But let's tout.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and they have a kind of a logo, and I was just hoping we get that on the city's website somewhere, because it just although I think they give out a lot of these awards, it really is DACWA has been very good for us in attracting people to the fact that it's easy to, and there's a provision for transients to come to Norwalk Harbor. Otherwise, you don't know what you're going to do. You sort of wander in there. You're either going to drop an anchor somewhere in a hook, and that's not well defined of where you should do that if you were not familiar with the harbor. We're short of calling on the harbor master, but I don't know that boaters tend to know to do that. Call the harbor master if they're planning a trip somewhere. I don't know how many calls come in that way. So they're having the
I do get some.
Yeah, they have
having the DACWA website helps us a lot to have a sort of a service that promotes and advertises the availability.
And years ago, I mean, there were a couple of magazines called Soundings, and I know they advertised. Even we had Norwalk Harbor was present in there, and to contact Harbor Master for further instructions on navigation in the harbor and where the more. Yeah.
In today's world, they have DACWA is pretty well known and has a really good website. They bought marinas.com, another website, so they have good maps and information and about most harbors in all over the country, all over the United States actually now. What you can do there, what there is to do, and how to tie up, and how to get a mooring, and so on and so forth. And they can do the billing for us as well. So it's pretty nice setup. So, Harbor Master Laval, I'm sorry I kind of skipped over you before.
Oh, no
I
worries.
do that.
No worries. Real quick, I mean, Commissioner Mangles pretty much said it all. I went out about a week and a half ago with Norm Edwards, check some moorings. We're probably going to be able to add maybe 2 or 3 more transients out by the bug light by the East Channel. There's a few mooring holders that aren't coming back, so we're going to use the space for some transients. Again, with the dock, if we're able to figure something out, like I said, I'd like to get something down just south of the ramps there, right across from Ishota. I think would be a good test area. And again, I'm gearing up for all the renewal applications to go out. The other day, I sent out 7 notices that I haven't received any mooring payment from these mooring holders, and they were pretty much told in my letter, if the mooring's not paid by the 31st, their mooring has to be removed. That's all I got. I like to, again, Lori, thank you for everything. Everybody else,
Bruce, thank you.
thank you, especially thanks to Amelia, and again to Sergeant Bisigli and his crew. It's they're very, very helpful, especially this season with the stuck barges and it's a lot. So thank you.
Thank
And
you, Bruce.
Lori, always an open invitation. All you got to do is give me
Thanks, Bruce. I'll take you up on that. Be careful.
All
There
right.
you go. There you go. Lori could probably
Yeah.
take notes and write tickets and things for you, and
Exactly.
be part of the team on the boat. So don't
Right.
forget to
Thank
that's
you.
a possibility. Thanks, Bruce. Plans and recommendations. I'm sorry, finance. I have trouble reading a schedule for some reason these days. Chris,
You're muted, Chris.
you're muted.
Yep. Okay. No, so we submitted the grant application right about the due date, right before Thanksgiving. So I don't know if you want to go over that. We went over it at the last meeting. So it was basically what we discussed. We added a few $1,000s additionally for new transit moorings and for transit mooring maintenance, and for harbor master vessel maintenance. Otherwise, it was pretty much the same. Last year, we did not get our $10,000 grant. So, if we don't get it again this year, we may have to revisit this budget. It balances at the, with the projected revenue against the expenditures. So I know, Alan, you're slated to go to that on Friday. Is that not?
Yeah, I will do that. Just can you just fire me off the most current spreadsheet you have?
It's what it's
Or is
what I
it-
sent in. It's what I sent to the city last month.
Okay, it hasn't changed.
No, that's the application. That's
Alrighty.
what it is.
I
It
have
is what
that.
it
That
is.
I can get that off the web. I'll go and I sent the finance office a email yesterday just asking exactly what they're expecting from us, and they're something we haven't done before. So I think it's
We
just
did it. We did last year. Didn't you call into that? I thought
Yeah,
you
but
did.
it wasn't. It was a 2 minute. They had our paperwork and they just sort of nodded and said it's fine, and that was the point of
Last year
the-
they didn't say it was fine. Last year they drug us over the cold and didn't give us any money.
It's the year before. I'm sorry, but we'll see what.
Yeah, they're making a big push that all of these smaller budget commissions, and we were right after the library people, and they couldn't get money for some part-time librarians, and they basically want everybody to be self-sustaining. If for groups like us who have a fee structure, fee generating aspect, they want us to keep within our fee, come within our within our revenue. So that you may hear that again.
Yes, and the grants really are for doing something new rather than just running your business as normal.
Right.
It's to expansion or more of something or enlarging your outreach and things like that. So I understand that we don't.
Sure. So the other thing is that we were, at the October meeting, we approved Jeff Stedman's invoice, which was for June through September, and it didn't get paid. And then when I followed up today, I found out that it had been put on hold by somebody, and Attorney Callahan wrote back and informed that it won't be released until he's under contract. So we're holding the man's payment from as far back as last June. And I'll let Don Remsen bring us up to speed on what's happening with the sole source procurement, but we're not paying Jeff as of this week.
Last invoice is on hold, is what
That's what I said. Yeah, it's been put on hold by somebody. I'm not sure who told them to put it on hold.
Well, I do know. It's somebody in the legal department, but
Okay.
and the
Um,
purchasing department.
Yeah, but I think it's a little unfair. Someone should have been informed before that, rather than, all of a sudden after the fact that, he puts an application and, a month later, he's told he's not going to get paid. I mean, it's already work that's already been approved. But I think, Don, I think you're going to address that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I passed it around individually for everybody to take a look at it. There's a couple little edits. That was pretty much it. So the game plan is to get that back over to purchasing and legal and get it drafted up as a contract and get it over.
And
So
I know I did talk to Mr. Callahan earlier because I wanted to approach him about whether he'd stay in the fold with us with regard to our um, public hearing issues that we want to had. And I, asked him about how we're doing and he would said as soon as we get that document to him, that he'd be able to issue a check to Mr. Stedman.
yeah.
All right.
I'm
Plans and
sorry to
recs?
go out of order, Alan. Bruce and I just had a side
Uh-oh.
conversation regarding something that was requested from the public and one of the harbor commissioners. We have an issue with the cans in the harbor, and one of the cans is extremely in a state of disrepair. The Coast Guard has really no plans. They have no extra shells to replace that can 3 on the entrance to the channel in the harbor. But I've been told that the backlog will eventually come to fold, and we're looking at another 8 to 10 months. But there was some public shaming because they saw how bad that can was in one of the other cans. So I'm expecting some type of
Response.
maintenance to be done at some point in time. But we wanted to put that on record because we've received numerous phone calls and emails regarding at least 2 of the cans in the harbor.
Is that off Tavern Island?
It is exactly off Tavern Island.
Yeah, I've noticed that
Right where it
myself.
is.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is the Coast Guard had a plan to remove a tremendous number of markers in this. I don't know if it's just Long Island Sound, but this vicinity, and there was quite a pushback about that, and they kind of had to change, backpedal a little bit on their position about leaving a lot of marks in place. I guess the feeling was that with all the GPS technology everyone uses, they don't need as many shouldn't need as many physical markers, and there was quite a pushback on getting rid of the actual buoys and markers. So they had to swallow their pride a little bit and said, well, they're going to stay till we can look at it.
But so they'd rather leave him there in place?
So they're going to leave them there, but I suspect that they had not placed their normal orders for materials and replacement cans and such, so that they have a little backlog now, and that's why what we're seeing now is they don't have anything to put there when they fail or they wear out. So, but thank you for going on the record with that, because I think it's very important.
Exactly right, Alan. I thought that it was necessary because apparently the Coast Guard their stance on it is the way it is written. They're not entirely responsible for all of the navigational aids in the country. So there's a certain percentage that need to be 100% functional, and there's a certain percentage that can be lapsed, and there's a certain percentage that is a hazard that can be so there's a matrix that they have. And so when it was brought to our attention, the harbor master's office, we wanted to ensure that we did our due diligence, and we wanted to put that on record for sure.
Yeah, thank you. The scope of markers that the Coast Guard oversees is pretty remarkable, because you go offshore, up and down the coast, and there's a whole other scale of marker that are way out there, 20 miles offshore and things like that. And then we're dependent on our little cans and nuns here, but they're all equally important to the people who depend on them. You know,
Yeah.
it's whether you're a sea captain out there or whether you're a little guy like me along Island Sound. They're important reference points. So interesting to see. I guess they got caught with their pants down a little bit. So,
Do we know whose responsibility it is to maintain it?
well, it has been the Coast Guard doing
Coast Guard.
Well, all right, so it's not our responsibility, or is it this just
it. No.
yeah.
No, it's not our responsibility. What I was told is historically, the Coast Guard Auxiliary would provide the service within a harbor. I guess this was in the 50s. And since that has not been done in 30 years, 40 years, maybe, the Coast Guard has picked up that slack, and the Coast Guard does not have the personnel to facilitate making these buoys right, you know.
Well, yeah, they call us to go check them. They don't even have a crew to come down. You know.
I just saw an article with pictures somewhere of the Coast Guard reinstalling the last buoy of this season's installs in the harbor somewhere. Can't remember where I saw
That was probably for the camera ready purpose.
That's right. Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, and is there anybody else we could reach out to that we could put pressure on?
Yeah, that question is so what I was told by a senior chief, he's in charge of maintenance in all of Long Island Sound, is there's not another can on the East Coast that fits the bill to replace that can. So I don't know. That's a great question.
Pretty remarkable.
I mean,
So
I don't know the block that holds that. You know, if it's like one of those things where we could do it, I'm sure we would love to do it, but do we touch a navigational aid? And can we even bring the navigational aid's block up? Like, is it a 5,000-pound block on that thing? You know, I have no idea.
right. Well, the can could certainly be removed, couldn't it?
I mean, you'd have to bring the block up with the can.
Can't
You-
leave
you
the.
can't cut the chain or cut whatever's, you know.
No, that's not
No.
that's not proper maintenance. You want to bring up the shackling gear, the chain. You want to inspect all of that before you drop it. And so their fix to that specific can was just to put reflective tape on it. But unfortunately, the reflective tape is adhered by like 3M, glue, and so it's salt water, and you know what that looks like. You guys have been out there longer than I have.
Could it be lit up or something? If they're not going to do it?
Yeah, I
Like a
mean,
solar-
I don't.
solar light?
I don't. That's a great question, Don. You know, I don't know if we could put a magnetic illuminator on it. Yeah,
I don't know. You know.
yeah, that's a great.
Because
that's a
that
great
one's
question.
that's the worst spot possible right in that location, especially at night.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to run into that if you're if you're not don't expect it. You know, it's
Owen, let's talk tomorrow. Let's make some phone calls and see if we can.
Yeah,
Tell us.
yeah, that's. I
Give
think
me-
that's a plan of action for
Would
sure.
it be
Also,
weird? Would it be weird to put, those solar panel lights because you don't expect lights?
So,
on a
I don't really
can.
like to mess with, Lori, I don't really like to mess with navigational aids. Like I've popped a few
Exactly.
in my day,
Yeah.
like, when they get chain bound and just like free it. But I don't,
Yeah.
I don't like to touch those because I don't know what the liability and the responsibility
Right.
is once we
And plus,
start.
it's weird. You don't expect a can to be lit. So that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, especially a can in our harbor on the green side, right? Like that's a little
Right.
odder than normal, for our folks.
Yeah.
very,
No.
very, very interesting. Well, it's I'm sure we could build our own cans for a whole lot less money than the Coast Guard spends on them, but I don't know who's going to do that and supervise that, if they want to pay us to do our own. All right, newsletter to website, any comments? And water quality, we don't have anything going on there. Hopefully, the new mayor will reactivate the mayor's water quality committee.
I put a bid in for that, Alan, to the letter to the mayor that they help reinstate the water quality. I certainly, certainly endorse that, and hopefully that goes forward.
All right, and then as new business, we do need to have a nominating committee. Should be 3 people to determine candidates for chair, vice chair, and secretary. Those are 1 year, 1 year appointments. So we have anybody who'd like to volunteer? Lori, or not there, Chris? I may have to do this by email with people because we don't really have much of a chance here. Do you think that's a viable?
I can certainly volunteer
Yep.
take that part of the responsibility there. We're gonna have a nomination. You want what, 3 people?
It's 3 people. It's the chair, vice chair, and secretary of the.
We've done it before, it's not that,
Yep.
you know.
Don, you want to serve on that? And do you want me to send why would you send a communication out to
I've
the whole
never done
commission?
it, so I certainly could,
Okay,
do my duty here.
All right, so
Don, Juby?
I'll raise my hand on that one. Yeah.
Okay, John. Don, would you like to serve on that?
Yeah, I'll help out.
All right, so
And, Chris, okay,
Don,
I will,
Chris, and myself. All right, there's 3, but that's fine. We'll handle it.
that's your 3. All right. Any other new business that anyone has?
Does that require a motion? Do we need to take a vote to establish that committee?
I don't know if that,
I'm happy to
you know,
make that motion.
Make a motion?
I'm
Sure, that would be
the
fine.
the appointment of these commissions at the behest of the chair,
Okay,
or is that? But that's fine. You certainly.
just asking. Yeah, okay,
Oh,
great.
the committee can find its own chair. I mean, can.
Well, the committee is, yeah, but you as chair, can appoint members of that committee.
I can.
Subcommittee. It's not. It's
Right.
not.
It does require a motion.
Not like
so-
application review. It's not. It's not. Like plans of recommendation. Those are designated. Committee.
So nomination committee is, we can, is there a motion to nominate those 3 people?
Well, Lori did.
Sure.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. All those
All in favor?
I'm abstaining because I'm on the list. We're
Yeah,
down to
I know.
about
Yeah.
2 people to vote.
All right. So
So we got 3, 4, and 1 against, or 4, 4, and 1 against. You can
No.
vote for yourself, Chris.
handle that. No
Any
problem.
other new business?
No?
Okay. Well, thank you all. Have a very, very happy holiday, and look forward to seeing everybody in the new year. Lori, we'll have to.
Yeah, I'll miss you guys.
You're gonna have to come visit and
Yeah.
and
Are we
work
gonna,
with.
we're going to go to our 4th Sunday of the month now, right? In January?
Yeah,
I mean, 4th Wednesday of the month, rather. We're going back to
we already voted on it.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
we have we voted on the schedule for next year at the last meeting, I believe. We approved it.
right. Hopefully we'll pull together a holiday party.
Yeah, and I have to find somebody to do the minutes of the next meeting, but boy,
Well, I'll do this meeting because
yeah,
my
but
term's not up, but after that.
I know.
Well, that's, yeah.
Oh, well.
So,
Somebody-
all right.
All right, bye, guys.
Nothing else?
All right,
Meeting adjourned.
All right, you have a
All
good-
right.
Happy holidays.
Thank you all. Happy
Happy
holidays,
holidays.
everybody.
Hi, Lori.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.